You have been waking up at the same hour for years now, haven't you? 3 in the morning, 3:11, 3:33. Eyes wide open, chest tight, and a feeling you cannot name, pressing down on you like something is waiting for you to finally pay attention. You roll over. You tell yourself it's stress. You tell yourself it's the coffee, the work week, the news, the dreams you cannot remember. But deep down, under all the explanations you already know, it isn't any of those things. Something is calling your name. And it has been calling your name for a very long time. Most people will sleep through it for the rest of their lives. 8 billion souls walking this planet, and the vast majority will never even hear the whisper. They will live, they will spend, they will scroll, they will die, and they will never once turn their face toward the voice that was trying to reach them. But you are not most people. You never were. And the fact that you are still here, watching this, reading these words on a screen at this exact moment, that is not an accident. That is a summons. I'm George, and what I am about to put in front of you in the next few minutes was sealed inside the book of Revelation, thousands of years ago, in plain ink, waiting for the generation that would have eyes to see it. 144,000. A number written into eternity before any of us drew our first breath. A remnant set apart from the rest of the human family. And when the moment comes, and it is coming faster than the world wants to admit, the voice of God Himself will speak 2 words over them. Sit down. The other 8 billion will not survive what those 2 words release. I need you to hear me carefully. The 144,000 were never fully human to begin with. What I am about to tell you in the next few minutes is something I carried alone for years before I had the courage to speak it out loud. Because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Once you feel it confirm something deep inside you, there is no going back to the small version of yourself that lived before this moment. So sit with me. Don't scroll. Don't look away. The Spirit brought you here for a reason. Let me tell you something about the 144,000 that most teachers skip over. The book of Revelation does not describe them like normal people. It does not describe them like the rest of the believers. It calls them firstfruits. It says they are sealed before the trumpets sound. It says they sing a song no one else can learn. Think about that for a second. A song that the rest of the redeemed cannot even understand. A frequency that does not belong to this world. A vibration that was written into them before they were ever born into flesh. That is not a description of an ordinary man. That is a description of something else. I'm not saying they are angels. I'm not saying they are spirits walking around in bodies. I'm saying their origin is different. Their assignment is different. Their wiring is different. They came down here carrying something the rest of the earth did not receive. And right now, in this generation, they are waking up, one by one. You may be one of them. I know that sounds heavy. I know your mind wants to deflect. I know there is a voice in your head right now saying, not me, not someone like me. I'm too broken, too tired, too ordinary. But listen to me carefully. The fact that you are still watching, still here, still feeling something stir inside your chest, that is not coincidence. The chosen ones never feel chosen. They feel misplaced. They feel like they showed up to the wrong life. They feel like there is a homesickness for somewhere they have never been. That homesickness is the seal. Let me take you back for a second. Back to a moment in Scripture that almost nobody preaches the way they should. Remember when Jesus walked past the fig tree and he saw Nathanael under it? Nathanael had never met him, never spoken to him. But the first thing Jesus said was, I saw you before Philip called you. Read that slowly. Before Philip called him, before the human moment, before the introduction, before the meeting, Jesus had already seen him, already known him, already marked him. And Nathanael's response was not confusion. It was recognition. He knew, on some level deeper than thought, that he had been seen by someone who had been watching from a place outside of time. That is exactly how it happens. For the 144,000, you don't get chosen in this life. You were already chosen before this life began. You did not earn it. You did not perform for it. You did not pray it into existence. You arrived already carrying it. Your job was never to become a chosen one. Your job was to remember that you already are. Think about how strange that must have felt for Nathaniel. A man minding his own business, sitting in the shade of a fig tree, probably wrestling with the same kind of doubts that wrestle with you and me, wondering if his life mattered, wondering if anyone really saw him, wondering if his prayers were going anywhere. And then a stranger walks up to him and tells him, in essence, "I have been watching you longer than you have been watching yourself." That kind of moment ruins you in the best possible way. You cannot go back to being who you were before, because someone outside of time just looked you in the eyes and told you that your existence was not random. That same moment is being offered to you right now. Not through a fig tree, through this screen, through these words, through whatever has been stirring in your chest since the first sentence of this video. The Spirit is saying the same thing. He said to Nathaniel, "I saw you before any of this. I saw you before the pain. I saw you before the wandering. I saw you before you ever doubted that you mattered. And I am calling you back to who I made you to be." And here is where things get serious. Because if you are one of them, the rules are not the same for you. What feels like a small mistake for someone else will cost you 10 years of your life. What feels like a small compromise for the average person will pull you off your assignment for an entire season. The enemy does not waste artillery on regular targets. He sends his sharpest weapons against the ones carrying the heaviest anointing. If your life has felt like constant warfare, if you have lost things you cannot explain, if friendships have collapsed without warning, if doors have slammed in your face while you were doing everything right, that is not bad luck. That is not a curse. That is confirmation. You are being treated like a threat because you are a threat. Hell knows your name. Hell read the file before you were born. Hell positioned things around you from the moment you took your first breath, trying to either kill the calling or distract you long enough that you never woke up to it. And the fact that you survived, the fact that you are still here, still breathing, still searching, is itself a miracle that you have not yet learned to celebrate. Now let me tell you something about what is coming, because the title of this video was not chosen lightly. 8 billion souls are walking this planet right now, and most of them have no idea what is about to be released. They are scrolling. They are arguing. They are chasing things that will not survive the next shaking. They are building houses on sand and decorating them like they are mansions. And when the wind comes, when the real wind comes, those houses will not stand. But the 144,000 will stand, not because they are stronger, not because they are smarter, not because they prayed harder. They will stand because they were built to stand. Their foundation was poured before time began. Their roots were planted in a soil that does not belong to this earth. When the ground starts to move under everyone else's feet, the chosen ones will feel a strange peace, a calm that does not match the chaos. Their bodies will know what their minds have not yet processed. They will hear the voice, and the voice will say, "Sit down." Sit down means rest. Sit down means do not fight in your own strength. Sit down means the war is no longer yours. Sit down means I have already gone ahead of you, and I am holding the storm back with my own hand. That is the inheritance of the 144,000. That is what no one is going to be able to take from them. Now let me speak to the part of you that is afraid to claim this, because I know you. I know the version of you that reads about chosen ones and immediately disqualifies yourself. I know the voice in your head that says, "If I were really one of them, my life would not look like this." Let me kill that voice right now. Moses was a murderer who ran into the desert and lived as a shepherd for 40 years before God called him. 40 years. A man who killed someone with his own hands, hiding in obscurity, watching sheep eat grass, thinking his life was over. And then a bush caught fire and did not burn up, and the voice of God came out of it, and everything changed. The first 80 years of Moses' life looked like a man who had been disqualified. The last 40 looked like the man who shook Egypt and split the sea. You are not disqualified because of where you have been. You are not disqualified because of what you have done. You are not disqualified because your life looks like wreckage right now. The chosen ones are almost always pulled out of the wreckage. That is part of the design. God does not call the polished. He calls the marked. And the marks usually look like scars before they look like signs. Look at David, a teenager that his own father did not even bother to call when Samuel came looking for the next king. His brothers were lined up. The dinner was being prepared. And David was outside, in the dirt, with the animals, completely forgotten by his own family. But God said, "None of these. Bring me the one you left behind, the one you did not think was worth inviting to the table. That is the one I want." If you have ever felt like the one left in the field, like the one nobody bothered to call to the table, congratulations. That is exactly where the 144,000 get found. In the overlooked places, in the forgotten corners, in the lives that no one expected anything from. And here is something else I need you to understand. The non-human part of this is not science fiction. It is not aliens. It is not New Age. It is the biblical truth that we are spirit first, soul second, body third. The body is the last thing about you, not the first. The flesh is the costume, not the person. The 144,000 are not non-human in the sense that they have green blood or strange features. They are non-human in the sense that their origin, their assignment, and their wiring were established in a realm that this earth cannot fully contain. You feel things that other people do not feel. You sense things in rooms before anyone has said a word. You know things about people that you have no way of knowing. You wake up at 3 a.m. with your chest burning and you cannot explain why. You walk into places and your spirit either rises or sinks within seconds. That is not anxiety. That is not your imagination. That is the spiritual receiver inside you doing what it was built to do. Most people walk around with that receiver turned off. The 144,000 cannot turn it off, even when they try. Even when they beg for a normal life. Even when they ask God to just make them like everyone else. The receiver stays on, because the assignment is bigger than their comfort. There are messages that pass through your eyes, and there are messages that pass through your spirit. If something in you recognized itself while watching, don't dismiss it. That is the spirit confirming what was already written. The secret protocol carries 7 keys that unveil what heaven deposited in you before you ever arrived. Things no one around you has ever been able to name. It comes with the full audiobook for your moments of prayer, silence, and encounter with God. And you also receive the Awakening Map, the guide that illuminates the 5 seasons of spiritual awakening, revealing with precision exactly where you are and what comes next. The link is pinned in the first comment, but only for a limited time. Don't let this moment pass without a response. Now back to where I was taking you, because the next part of this is the hardest part. 8 billion souls will not survive what is coming. I want to say it again, because the human mind has a way of skipping over numbers that big. 8 billion. The vast majority of the people on this planet right now are not prepared. They have built lives that look successful from the outside, but are hollow at the center. They have chased money, status, comfort, validation, romance, image, and they have ignored the one voice that was trying to call them home. And when the shaking comes, those things will not hold. Money will not hold. Status will not hold. Comfort will not hold. Only the soul that was anchored before the world was made will hold. And that is the difference. The 144,000 were anchored before they were born. Their roots go down into eternity. When the trumpets sound, they will not panic. When the seals open, they will not collapse. When the sky changes, they will not lose their minds the way the rest of the world will, because they were prepared in the secret place, long before the outer world began to fall apart. Have you noticed it already? The way the world feels different lately, the way the air feels heavier, the way ordinary news now sounds like the headlines of the last days, the way people you have known for years are losing themselves, breaking down, becoming someone you do not recognize. You are not imagining it. The pressure is real. The shift is real. The labor pains of the new age have already begun, and the contractions are getting closer together. But for the chosen ones, this is not a season of fear. This is a season of awakening. This is the moment you were born for. While the rest of the world is unraveling, you are being assembled. While their foundations are cracking, yours is being revealed. While they are running in circles, you are being told to sit down. Sit down and watch what I am about to do. Sit down and witness my hand move. Sit down and stop trying to control what was never yours to control. Sit down, because the war is mine, and the victory is already written. Let me tell you about Elijah for a second. Because this man was one of the most powerful prophets in the entire Bible. He called fire down from the sky. He outran chariots. He raised the dead. And after the greatest victory of his life, after defeating 450 prophets of Baal on a single mountain, this man sat down under a tree and asked God to let him die. He was exhausted. He was alone. He thought he was the only one left. And God did not rebuke him. God did not yell at him. God sent an angel with food, twice. And then he whispered to him in a still small voice, "If you have felt like Elijah under that tree, if you have been so worn down by the war that you have begged God to just take you home, listen to me. That season is not the end of your assignment. It is the threshold of it." The greatest prophets in Scripture all had a moment where they collapsed before they were promoted. The collapse is part of the design. The exhaustion is the doorway. What feels like the end is almost always the beginning of the new level. You are not breaking. You are breaking through. And one more thing before I close this out, because I know the enemy is going to try to make you forget what you felt while watching this. He always does. The moment you turn off the screen, he will send a distraction, a phone call, a worry, a small irritation that will pull your mind off of what God was trying to plant in you. Be ready for that. Recognize it for what it is, and do not let him have the next hour of your day. What God said to you through this message, he said for a reason. You did not click on this video by accident. You did not arrive at this exact moment in your life by accident. The Spirit was waiting for you to be soft enough, tired enough, honest enough, to finally hear what he has been trying to say for years. You are not crazy. You are not too sensitive. You are not too much. You were built this way on purpose, for this exact moment in history, for an assignment that no one else can do in your place. The 144,000 are not a club you join. They are a remnant that was set apart before the foundation of the world. And the ones who are part of it always feel it long before anyone confirms it to them. They feel it in the way ordinary life never quite fits. They feel it in the way they grieve the state of the world more deeply than the people around them. They feel it in the strange certainty that they were sent here for something even when they cannot name what that something is. If you are one of them, the rest of your life starts now. Not when you have it all figured out. Not when you feel ready. Not when the doubts disappear. Now, in this exact breath you are taking. With this exact heart that has been through everything it has been through. The God who set you apart is not asking for your perfection. He is asking for your yes. When the trumpets sound, 8 billion souls will not be ready. But you will, because you were never one of the 8 billion. You were always one of the 144,000. And the voice that will say, "Sit down," has been preparing your spirit for this moment your entire life. Stop running from it. Stop apologizing for being different. Stop trying to make yourself smaller so the people around you can feel comfortable. The world does not need a smaller version of you. The world needs the exact version of you that heaven sent down. Because without you in your place, doing your part, walking your assignment, there is a piece of the harvest that will not come in. There is a soul that will not be reached. There is a prayer that will not be answered. You matter more than you have ever let yourself believe. So before you close this video, before you go back to whatever was about to pull your attention away, I want you to do one thing for me. I want you to tell me, in the comments, what was the moment in your life when you first knew you were different? Not different in a way you were proud of, different in a way that made you feel alone. The moment as a child, or as a teenager, or even last week, when something inside you whispered, "I am not like the rest of them, and I do not know why." Write that moment down. Share it with me. Because every single one of you who comments is reminding another chosen one out there that they are not the only one who felt it. The 144,000 are not waking up alone. They are waking up together. And every voice in those comments is part of how God is calling the others home. I will be reading every single one, and I will be praying over every single one, because the comments under this video are not going to be ordinary comments. They are going to be the testimonies of a remnant beginning to recognize itself. Now sit down, because what is coming is bigger than anything this world has ever seen, bigger than any headline, bigger than any fear, bigger than any voice in your head that has tried to convince you that you are small. And you were built for it.